Okay, I was wondering where you went. Okay.
Okay. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Gianna. Thanks for filling in for us tonight.
You're
Um,
welcome. You're welcome.
and welcome to everybody. This is Thursday night, May the 8th, and we're going to do another broadcast of WLJA Common Law uh, Under God. This time we're gonna deal with a very serious topic. The name of the broadcast, of course, is mass poisoning, and why aren't we prosecuting these people? If I forget, the short answer to why we aren't prosecuting these people is found in an earlier broadcast of ours about how we don't really need common law grand juries. Um, so, uh, that gives more detail. You might want to look at that. So let's do an opening prayer. This is a very serious topic and one that people are subject to a lot of deception about. And to start, Heavenly Father, we praise you tonight because our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. Um, uh, this verse from Psalms 139:14 gives new meaning to your promise that no weapon formed against us will prosper. But we recognize our own responsibilities here to take dominion of our earthly temples that you gave us, just as you instructed us to take responsibilities needed to take dominion of that portion of creation that is within our neighborhoods and communities of fellow believers. My hope tonight is that I can impress on people the seriousness and difficulties associated with keeping our temples of flesh clean as you made them to be. Yes, we also understand that there are many threats that are being leveled against the sanctity of our bodies by the poisons that the adversary is trying to deceive us once again to accept as something good, something fun, something exciting, or even normal or healthy. In the case of a lot of these poisons that are injected in various products that their corporations sell. Please guide me so that I can help people to not be overwhelmed by this information, but still to understand the seriousness of those threats and also the hope that you have provided us in the natural world, outside and inside of our bodies. In Jesus' name, we pray
Amen.
for guidance tonight.
Amen. Amen. Thank you,
Amen.
Catherine. Thank you.
Okay, this,
So what we're
you know,
talking tonight is about the mass poisoning going on in our world right now, and it's coming from everywhere. Catherine.
it's been a gradual thing, little by little by little, a little more poisoning each year. I wanted to start with one of the most important things to know, um, and that is we have to have good, clean drinking water. If that isn't clean, it's going to make it very difficult, if not impossible, for us to survive. Um, because a lot of the ways that we're doing that, and I'm going to be relying on the work of Dr. Hulda Clark, and you might want to put put her, the link I sent you for the Book of Cures for All Diseases. Up there's just she's got so much information there. I met her back in the early 2000s
Mhm.
at a conference in Chicago. She had been in communication with me about my own. I was ill at the time, probably from poison in my water, um,
Mhm.
and uh, and she instructed me how to. I spoke to her on the phone. She instructed me how to send her water samples, and she tested them in her laboratory. She wrote me back handwritten letters. You
Wow.
can believe this.
Wow.
Uh, telling me how serious the issues were and
Mm-hmm.
that I needed to get out of the city.
Wow.
And I took her advice uh, word for word, and I sold my house, and I left the city, and I moved to a place down in the country where I could have well water,
Mm-hmm.
and that is actually the ideal form of drinking water we should all have is
Yeah.
from a well. And of
Wow.
course, the adversary doesn't like that and enacts various corporate policies that we can't do that. And uh, I think I sent you a link to the situation that got created, and it's going to be coming up in cities all over the American continent
Mm-hmm.
uh, with the public water supply. Uh, a lot of the public water is heavily contaminated, not only from all the additives that they put into it, because they're recycling other water, so they have to put chemicals in to make it. Mm, to get rid of to kill microorganisms or whatever they do. Um, but the water is also running through galvanized steel pipes for the most part, which are pretty sturdy, but they have lead connections,
Mm-hmm.
lead soldering,
And is
and
this the pipes that are in our homes you're talking about?
yeah, the pipes
Uh,
that are supplying water to your home
mm-hmm.
are run through, for the most part, galvanized steel piping that is decades and decades old. And it gets pretty crappy over time, particularly when they don't maintain it, because
Mm-hmm.
maintenance costs money and we're not really worth it, you know? So, as an example, I gave the city of Maumee, Ohio, that's Maumee, in connection with their public water supply, which, of course, they don't maintain any more than the people in Chillicothe maintain theirs. Um, galvanized piping should last for 40, 50 years, but it's been that. It's been that amount of time.
Right.
So
Right.
now they're going to tack on, a surcharge so that the people can pay uh, the loan they're going to take out to redo the entire system. And I don't know what they're going to do it in, but they're going to have to borrow millions of dollars, and which never would have been necessary if they had stopped interfering with the people's right to pump their own well water. But of course, there's other problems with municipal water or even county water. Um, and that is that industry likes to dump a lot of waste
Oh
into
God.
the water supply, not only human waste, but also, and this has gotten some attention in the news media recently,
Mm-hmm.
to in connection with RFK Jr., who says fluoride is fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis. This is a quote from him: bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease.
Hmm.
So,
That we know of. That we
yeah,
know of.
that we know of. Um, and so, of course, this needs to be studied more, and it's going to take some time, and blah, 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 blah. Ron DeSantis in Florida has apparently just signed legislation for corporate policy for state of Florida now is they're going to stop dumping the fluoride in their drinking water.
Really?
Yeah. The only other state that has done that or is doing that currently is state of Utah. So the other 48 are still doing the same stuff. But yeah, the first city on the American continent to fluoridate water was Grand Rapids, Michigan. The reason for doing this was the real reason was to have, because fluoride is an industrial toxin. They needed a place to dump their toxins, so they had to dream up a plausible reason that it was necessary. So they commissioned. They're able to commission like one flawed study among hundreds, if not thousands, that suggested that fluoride would be good for teeth, good for stopping cavities. Right. But the evidence is that fluoride models teeth. It makes teeth look splotchy. And that the one study they relied on was rigged and in no way something that would be replicated or able to be replicated by other scientists. And of course, even if it were a helpful substance to use for the teeth, there's no reason to put it, and this is the point RFK Jr. makes, there's no reason to put it in the water so that everybody's exposed to it in a certain amount, you know. So fluoride is not the only pollutant associated with American Dental Association dentists and their practices. The one we always hear about a lot is mercury.
Right.
And they don't like to call it mercury, but
they stopped using mercury for fillings, right? I think they can't. No, I thought.
No, I don't think so.
I think when I was at the dentist last night, I think I asked them, "Do you guys use that anymore?" And at least my dentist said no. Maybe others do. I don't know.
I asked my cousin Ted, Dr. Ted Hine, in Oklahoma, is the dentist, and I had asked him about it, and he acted confused about mercury. He says, "Oh, you mean silver?" Well, right. Silver's not usually in a liquid form. They mix it with silver, but yeah, it's mercury. And I know because I had all the mercury taken out of my mouth by a biological dentist who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that when you go to a biological dentist to get it removed.
I didn't know there were biological dentists.
Yep. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Most of them claim that there's a certification process that was started by a dentist in Colorado, Dr. Howell, I forget his last name. And in my dentist in Ohio, Dr. John Johnson, his office is really kind of state of the art, and it's got all this equipment that when they do the dental work and they're removing, and it comes out in chunks, they take it, they basically siphon the debris they're getting out of your mouth through a tube and out of the building. It's so toxic.
Wow.
Um,
I was looking up biological dentists, and they're, yeah, do a search for biological dentists in your area. And there are some, and they're also
mhm,
known as maybe a holistic dentist. And it
yeah,
also states that some insurance plans may only cover the cost of mercury fillings, though.
not the removal of them.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Um, so
Oh,
every
and
time
it's
you chew, the mercury is constantly released. This is according to Dr. Clark, constantly released in the mouth and does not all get excreted by the kidneys or eliminated by the bowels. Some of it travels up to the brain and gets into the spinal cord.
Jesus. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
you will be able to eliminate and excrete more mercury by doing a kidney and liver cleanse. Um, that's another a good uh, um, thing to remember about Dr. Clark's book. At the end of it, she's got how to do, and it should be done in this order: a colon cleanse, a kidney cleanse, and then a liver cleanse. And
Hmm.
anyway, more on mercury. Mercury itself may be polluted with thallium, which is even more toxic. In fact, there's a YouTube video that says thallium is the most toxic heavy metal on Earth.
What is it
Much
called? Salium?
thallium, Thallium.
And what is that used in again?
It's
Thallium?
it's used with mercury a lot of times, and we'll come back to thallium later.
Okay. Okay.
It's got a number of uses, as it was
Hmm.
discovered in 1861. Um,
Is it
so
is this Dr. Clark's? She's still alive? Do you know?
no,
No, okay.
no, that's a whole other story too. She was attacked, of course, and had to move her practice to Mexico.
Wow.
Um, and she
Wow.
died under unusual circumstances. Let's put it that way in
Oh,
2009.
of course. Well,
Yeah,
knowing that, I would just suggest that people download her book or purchase the book before it disappears or it gets scrubbed off the
yeah,
internet, which
yeah.
is
She's
on there
got a
now.
number of books. Yeah, but I think this one is the best.
Okay.
The the one about
The Cure for All
the
Diseases.
yes, yes. I think I know lately people have gone off on this cancer is caused by parasite theory, and that's
Hmm.
true. And she talks about it. She talks about it a lot.
Hmm.
But she says every parasite is associated with a toxin, its favorite toxin,
Hmm.
and and so if you don't get rid of the toxins, you can get rid of the parasites all day long, but more will come back if the toxin that they prefer is still in the body. And of course, the body becomes weakened, and parasites do tend to attack weakened organisms.
Ugh.
So, mercury, of course, in other forms has been used in jabs um, for decades, where it's called, they give it the name thimerosal. It was in the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus injection, associated with autism, of course, what's called autism.
Hmm.
Um, all right. Wanted to mention too, uh, you're going for people wanting to avoid a lot of these toxins, don't think you're going to buy another uh, uh, over-the-counter product of some kind, like uh, to avoid fluoride, for example, in toothpaste. You don't want to go and buy toothpaste such as Tom's of Maine. Oh, it's natural. It's this, it's that.
Yeah.
it contains fluoride too. Yeah,
Does it say it in the ingredients? Like
it
they would have.
does. It
Okay.
does.
Oh.
But people don't look at that, and they just think, oh, it's natural. You got to pay attention.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, so when you get the mercury removed, you have to make sure that the dentist really knows what they're doing and they don't leave any thallium behind.
Lordy.
So the next thing I wanted to cover was the poisons in food and or anything that's being consumed. Um, and you start with the source of food uh, from the earth, and the poisoning starts right there with the agrochemical herbicides and pesticides. The one that gets a lot of attention online and elsewhere is glyphosate. That's GLYPHOSATE, which is an herbicide. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of what they're calling forever chemicals. PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. There you got the fluoride again. Keep in mind, the Creator did not use fluorides when He created us. And that's why it's so ridiculous when it said, "Oh, well, fluorides will restore the mineral balance of the teeth and bones." The teeth and bones do not naturally contain fluorides. The Creator is very partial to just a few elements: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And in various combinations of that, He's able to be quite creative with just those few. He doesn't use these industrial substances.
And has told us in the Bible that He has anything that we need to heal our bodies, He has put in nature. He has put on this earth for us.
Yes.
So
Yes. So yeah, and a lot of those herbs can help flush out the toxins. There are herbs that are especially effective with not only parasites. Ivermectin is not really needed. They're more effective herbal parasitic herbs, but herbs that will feed the liver, because our livers are what we need to have in good shape to flush all this stuff out. And the big ones that you hear about all the time are milk thistle, which grows wild, and dandelion. So if you every May, in fact,
dandelions, what they tell us is a weed, right? And provide
right.
weed killer for you. Got to kill them, get them out of here, right?
No.
And I've heard some people are gathering the dandelions and making certain tinctures out of them and using them for different ailments and stuff. I got to look into that more.
And every part of the dandelion is usable. The flower, the stem, the leaves, the root. It's all usable.
And the root too, huh?
The root too. Yeah. I think
amazing.
part of it is with herbs is those roots go down deep and they reach, below the subsoil and they pull up nutrients that you don't otherwise get in cultivated plants.
Hmm.
Uh, there are people that, and I'll mention, Mike Adams, although I think he's controlled opposition, but he has a laboratory and he says that his supplements have been tested to be glyphosate free. So to the degree you can believe that,
Yeah.
uh, but maybe we need supplements, maybe we don't. But according to Karina Schneidman, um, who has extensively studied glyphosate, it's it it's found in food and beverage supplies linked to cancer, autoimmune illness. It's classified as a human carcinogen. It slowly kills gut microbiota,
Mm.
and which deregulates the nervous system and poisons the soil ecosystems. Okay, we're talking about agrotoxins. We haven't even mentioned GMOs yet. Um,
There's so much. There's just so much.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted, if nothing else, to give people an idea of the scope of this poisoning. And
It's frightening.
um, glyphosate is found in wheat, bread, crackers, pasta, corn, chips,
Hmm.
tortillas, cornflakes, most beers and
Yep.
many wines, barley and rye, soybeans, which you get a double dose of garbage with those. Lentils and chickpeas, in other words, hummus, canned legumes, veggie burgers, peas, especially dried split peas, granola bars, breakfast cereals, cookies and crackers, snack chips and popcorn, meat, milk, and eggs from animals fed glyphosate treated feed, which most of them are. Um, so the suggestion is to try to buy locally, organic certified only. But even with organic certified, you don't really know. There'll be a list of chemicals that are certified to not be in the product, but that doesn't mean there aren't other chemicals that are.
Hmm.
So really, to be safer, you'd be growing your own, or trading with people that you can trust to not use those chemicals. Um,
Well,
then there's, speaking of food, there's a Dr. Russell Blaylock who's been writing books. He's a brain surgeon. I guess he's retired.
what was the
And
name again, Catherine?
Russell Blaylock, Blaylock,
Hmm.
and he coined the term to describe a group of chemicals that are added to foods and beverages that literally stimulate neurons to death, causing brain damage of varying degrees. These are very, very common.
If
They,
any of this is in the links that you sent me, just let me know and I'll pull it up.
no, no,
Okay.
it's
Oh, okay.
not. In fact, I couldn't
Okay.
remember his name till right before the broadcast. But he's not the only one who's been studying excitotoxins. Uh, Examples are real common. Uh, Aspartame. Anytime you've
It's a
got
big
a,
one.
a sugar-free this or that,
Hmm.
uh, NutraSweet. Um, Also, if you ever heard of Chinese restaurant syndrome, it comes
Chinese,
from the
no. Chinese
yeah,
restaurant syndrome? No, what is
yeah.
that?
That's a reaction that your body has to too much monosodium glutamate, MSG.
Hmm.
That's also an excitotoxin
Why is it called Chinese restaurant syndrome? I
because
don't
they
get
use
it.
it's a flavor enhancer, you see, that they use in
Oh,
Chinese food. It's
oh,
found in soy sauce.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Good to
Yeah.
know.
And then there's just all kinds of stuff, and not all of it gets put on a label. Cysteine, hydrolyzed protein, which I think you're going to find in like soy products, veggie burgers and stuff. Aspartic,
Hmm.
aspartic acid, and there are others. Um, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but I understand that even products that are not diet this or diet that, because any food that's labeled diet is going to have a
Aspartame.
yes.
Right.
So even if it doesn't say that it's a diet and has sugar, well, it probably doesn't have sugar. It's probably got corn sweetener, and it may also have modified food starch or modified corn starch, which means it's been um, modified in the laboratory to become indigestible.
Hmm.
Uh, so there's that. Um, okay, we mentioned a little bit about in connection with dentistry, and I got to say, dentistry can be an innocent seeming uh, but important factor in all kinds of illness. Um, because of the heavy metal usage.
Hmm.
Then, still on agrochemicals, um, for purpose of fertilizing, there's the use of sludge from human remains. Okay.
Now we're talking about fertilizing the plants and the herbs and things that we grow, our
Uh-huh.
gardens and grass.
Well, the agricultural, we're
Right.
talking about, large farms
Okay, we're
that,
talking about what they're using to fertilize, not what we
yes,
want to use.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Human sludge and raw sewage are being used as fertilizer. Now, aside from the yuck factor, the use of human sludge from cadavers um, brings with it the heavy metals that are remaining in those human bodies or that are being excreted uh, from them. And it brings those heavy metals right back onto the land, which
That's
then gets
insane.
drawn into the growing plants.
What's wrong with good old fashioned cow manure? And you know,
Well, you know that there's been a push to demonize cows
I
because
know.
they expel gas and they do this and they do that. The big move away uh, from meat from animals that graze.
Right.
So uh, then, of course, we can't leave GMO. We can't leave agricultural chemicals before mentioning the genetic modification of usually wheat, corn, soy, but there's a growing number of other crops that are being lab modified in a
Right.
laboratory
So many.
um,
Yeah.
for the purpose of corporate profit, so that farmers can't keep the seed because the seed can't germinate after one growing season. So That's all. That's the pretext, sort of, that they did this. Oh, we got to feed the world. That's another one. And we can't grow enough food to feed the world, unless we do this, you know, industrial scale agriculture. And that means
Mm.
somehow, why that means, you would want to plant, um, grains that you can't save the seeds from. I don't know.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
so I would never trust any wheat product anyway, and that's everything. It's everything practically.
Mm.
Um, I don't know
What?
that you can even grow your own wheat.
Mm.
What I've done, and people probably know that, I've been living in South America. Um, Although I like to be able to return to Ohio, but health concerns have prohibited that. But I've found that, um, even here they have GMO'd the wheat and the corn, just the corn that they use to feed animals. So I have to be very careful
Mm.
about only buying from producers I know who don't do that.
How's your garden doing? Are you still working on your garden, or?
Uh, I we're going into winter, and I've just been so busy. I haven't.
Right, right.
I'm going to get to it. I got to prepare the beds, and um,
That's
anyway.
something. That's something I'm going to be focusing on this summer. I should have started already, but uh, it's going to be somewhere else. So you know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, y- yeah, really, there's no need to be buying fertilizer, because what I use is, and it takes a while. I mean, when I got this property, it had some sort of a lawn, and I didn't want that. So and it's a very tiny space. I divided it up into little, like, 3 by 4 foot, um, sections. You don't need a lot of space to grow quite a bit of stuff. And I separated them out, and I did what they call lasagna gardening. But you put a layer of leaves, and you put a layer of grass clippings, and then you put a layer of I put a layers of cardboard to block the light, so that the weeds underneath won't come through. It's not really the healthiest thing,
Mm.
because you still got glue from the
Cardboard.
cardboard, you know.
Oh,
But
interesting.
um, but I've been able to gradually, over time, bring in more life, more variety into what's growing on my land. So
Right. So much that we don't even think about, right, Catherine? I know that, like, to block the weeds and all that, and when you're trying to grow something on that land that has weeds or whatever keep coming back. I know that there's these. I've only seen like tarps, like some kind of like black tarps. They're made of some kind of plastic, and
yeah,
you got me thinking. Yeah, with the sun hitting it and everything, chemicals from that plastic would be going into the ground, into what we're trying to grow. I
yeah,
never
you don't
thought
want
about that,
that.
but yeah, that makes sense. A lot,
Yeah,
a
the
lot we
best
don't even
bet
think about.
really is, to block the sun with leaves, and there's a lot of fallen leaves now, here, and so I'm just gathering them up, and they will rot down. There's some trees that they won't. Eucalyptus trees, the leaves don't rot down. Um, but we've got oak and maple and stuff, and even elm, which elms and chestnuts were pretty much destroyed in the United States years ago. Okay, so you want to avoid GMO, wheat, corn, soy, and whatever else they're GMOing. I mean, in the States, they're GMOing apples and I don't other fruit.
Jeez.
So, in creating these GMO'd hybrids, what grapples, cross between grapes and apples.
What? I've never even heard of those.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
That was coming in, at the end of my time up there.
Grapples, huh?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Then I think I don't know if I sent you this or not, but it doesn't really have to be displayed. Moving away from the agricultural chemicals and into food processing. So then you're dealing with the food processing equipment. And in the States, there is a requirement, part of the Code of Federal Regulations, that requires that isopropyl alcohol, which is a potent carcinogen, be used to clean the food processing equipment.
Huh.
And
Did you send? Do I have that? Did you send me a link to show
I don't
that?
think you have
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
But there are other chemicals besides isopropyl alcohol. There's a whole list of them, as I recall. I just pulled them down last night. And they have a whole way of testing that it's really been done, and sanitizing solutions is what they call them, and they have all different kinds, and they use bleach, calcium hypochlorite, with or without the bromides of potassium, sodium, or calcium. They've got how many different kinds? Hydriodic acid, just all kinds of sodium iodide, sodium dioctyl sulfosuccinate.
Ugh, if you can't pronounce it, it's probably not good.
Polyoxyethylene, polyoxypropylene, and then they have little criteria for this, so people can have jobs in the bureaucracy, to measure how many parts per million that there are in each of the solutions that are used to sanitize. And looks like they have 20, 30, 34, 35, 36. They have a lot, 40, 45 different solutions, and each category they have to measure, if it's in this category, it has to be at least 12.5 parts per million and not more than 25 parts per million. That's as to titratable iodine. And then for another chemical, it has to be no more than at least 150 parts. It has to be at least that just to do what it's supposed to do, but no more than 400 parts per million. So you get over that, then you've killed too many people. So they have all these categories, and they've got, of course, the coloring adjuvants. FD&C yellow number 5 shall not be used in excess of the minimum amount to accomplish the intended technical effect, which is what, to color the, I don't know. Anyway, so going back to all right, the food processing, and moving beyond that. Oh, yeah. Well, let's jump into this now, because I did send you the Dr. Hulda Clark book, and it's if you turn to page 475.
I thought you were done with her book. I closed it. Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on.
And that it's got pictures depicting all kinds of stuff in our homes that body products, furniture, and here's the thing, you know, there's a lot of industrial pollution outside of our homes, but what we're actually most adversely affected by are the toxins inside our homes.
Yeah. Did you want me to pull up her book? I have it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you at page 475 and 476? I think it is.
Hold on, let me
pictures.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Okay. What page did you want? This
475.
Is okay, 475. Can you see it on your end? This says 475. Do you see it?
Where'd it go?
Or can you see it okay? Not really.
I'm trying to see how to get back in the screen.
Oh, it should be showing up on the screen here.
Can't seem to get back into the screen. Where's it? Okay. Yes. No, that's...
Is that not it?
That's not...
No. Okay, well, it says 475 on the bottom.
That's...
Page 4.
Scroll back a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
This one here or this one?
Yeah.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. Scroll back one more. These are unnatural chemicals that are found in your home. And yeah, I can see it now. And
oh my gosh, in metal glass frames.
None of this stuff is really essential.
Dishwasher detergent, laundry detergent.
Furniture that outgasses, wallpaper that outgasses. Some of that stuff can actually be more harmful to you than almost anything else. Body products, soaps that contain phthalates.
Oh, lipstick.
We can get into that.
Lipstick.
I find here that every single kind of soap that I can buy about knocks you down with the perfume that's been added.
Candles,
And
even
there's
if they're
one
not
place
burning.
I can get soap that's just basically soap, and it's got sodium hydroxide and coconut oil, and that's it. That's all it needs to have. Sodium
Mhm.
hydroxide is what's in lye. You can make your own soap,
Yeah.
and I know some people here who do that. But the problem with these body products, the shampoos, the deodorants, uh,
Yeah.
those toxins go through the skin. Don't think they don't. Um, if you're touching the product, if you're breathing it in, you're getting the toxin into your body. And the ones that are common
Oh my gosh. Oh,
are
and aluminum in walkers for the elderly and in lotions.
there's solvents.
Mm.
Um, like xylene and toluene. Toluene is found in paint remover and probably in paint also. Um, it's also a pollutant of certain carbonated beverages, which Dr. Clark found in 7-Up, ginger ale, and others.
Well,
Benzene is another one found in soft drinks, including Coke. Um, Now,
yeah.
back into common household products and what they outgas and how they absorb through the skin. Cobalt is known to promote skin cancers and also heart disease. And this was discovered decades ago when an outbreak of heart disease occurred in England and was traced to a pub where cobalt was added to the beer to make the foam rise higher. In
Oh,
fact, the foam will
brother.
just stay in place like a hairdo if you add cobalt. It was made an illegal
No.
additive, but gradually it has crept back into consumers' products, uh, such as toilet cake blue, window washer blue, dishwasher detergent blue, and now even mouthwash. If you see a blue colored product, stay away from it. It accumulates in the heart and the skin. People with skin cancers often have cobalt buildup. But I've been seeing posted all over social media what I call the methylene blue deception. Uh,
Mm.
Dr. Clark talks about methylene blue uh, as an extreme toxin, but now it's being promoted as a miracle cure for cancer.
Oh boy.
Then there's the toxins in toilet paper. But first, I'm going to get into the toxins in paper towels, also known as forever chemicals. These are the PFASs. Um, they include chlorine, formaldehyde.
And that was it. In
The
what?
problem is not only the chlorine, but the fact that it leaves behind byproducts like dioxin, furans, and formaldehyde, which are all certified carcinogens. One study examined the toxicity of 5 different brands of sanitary napkins, and the same would go for adult diapers, infant diapers, analyzing
Yeah.
them for the presence of phthalates. We talked about phthalates earlier. It's
Yeah.
PHTHALATES. They contain the substance thallium, the heavy metal that we mentioned is is very useful in industry to make plastics more flexible. But the phthalates that are coating your paper products, and this includes probably every type of paper product that you use, toilet paper, paper towels, and receipts, paper receipts.
Wow.
Include these thallium compounds that are deemed more toxic to humans than mercury, cadmium, lead, copper, or zinc, have been called the most deadly element on Earth. That's thallium. Found in baby wash, hair products, face body paint.
And
So
and all this
think twice
all
before
this
you paint your child's face for Halloween.
right. And all this
Shampoo, soap,
information is
well-known
in the
colognes and perfumes.
all this
Aftershave.
information is in this book, right, Catherine?
And they are found. The dioxins are especially found roughly 3 times higher than safe levels. And that's on top of all the other toxins, of course, you're getting in. Okay, we're getting close to the hour mark, and this is just, a once over lightly kind of a summary. And I did, the paper receipts contain BPA, bisphenol A, which is known to affect the reproductive system of laboratory animals. And this is according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, so they're downplaying it. The impact on human health requires more research. Just because it causes reproductive damage to laboratory animals, no need to worry about human use, right? Until we study it more.
Wow.
Then just once over lightly, in the skies, we've got concerns about what's being sprayed. And no, it's not just contrails. Condensation trails dispersed within a minute or two. That's not what this stuff is.
Do we have a link? Did you send me a link on that?
There is. There was a Dr. Phil show recently, and someone confronted him. Yeah, someone confronted RFK Jr. with the bromine, barium, aluminum, and strontium that were, among other things, that were being sprayed.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all want to look up RFK Jr. and Dr. Phil and the question that was asked, RFK Jr. acts like he's really never heard of, or he's heard of chemtrails, and he wants to do something. And apparently, in case we didn't mention it already, state of Florida and state of Utah have.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Enacted corporate policy, statutes and codes prohibiting, finally prohibiting.
Did you want me to play that?
The tic-tac-toe
we stop it.
designs and so forth.
That is not happening in my agency.
But
we don't do that. It's done.
The corporate entity known as DARPA,
and a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel.
Has real people.
Those materials are put in jet fuel.
And I'll just name a couple names. The guy in the past was John Brennan, and the current one is Stephanie Tompkins. They're real people, and they have real addresses, if only at their places of employment. And
Catherine, did you want me to
admit that they're doing this, and there's no particular excuse for it. You want to put up
Catherine,
that?
Can you hear me?
That photograph from Trump's first term.
Catherine.
Luciana?
Yeah. I have that pulled up if you want me to play it.
Are you
That
there?
question.
Did I lose you?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me, Catherine? Yeah. Can you hear me,
Okay.
Catherine?
I think I lost you.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
had that. Can you see that I have that pulled up? RFK at the Dr. Phil show when they asked them that question. Can you see it on the screen?
I'm seeing the screen. I don't see. You're talking
Yeah,
about somebody in the.
I have it pulled up. Do you want me to play it? When they asked him that question?
I'm hearing you through the phone, but not on through the.
Okay. Hold on.
Computer.
I'll go ahead and play it. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh, and now we can't hear this. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything through the computer.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening now. Okay. Well, that's very strange. Okay, well, it is out there. Yeah, if they would just Google Dr. Phil with JFK on Dr. Phil, they'll see them asking that question, and he is talking about the spraying of these chemicals.
Are we able to be heard online?
Yeah.
Because I'm only hearing you through the phone.
Well, yeah, I can hear you. That's strange.
You hear me through the computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, he said, well, we think it comes, from DARPA, and like he's not really sure.
Well,
But I just wanted to point out to people that in Trump's first term, that, and I know that there's an explanation for why this is okay, but there's a photograph of him on a plane. Make of it what you will.
Yeah.
Can we put that up?
Oh, yeah. Let me find that.
I can't hear you.
Yep. Do you see it? Is that it? There?
Okay.
Yeah. That was the
All right.
photo.
If you do a search, people, if you do a search of Orange Puppet, basically, what his actual name is and first term inside a plane where they're doing chemtrailing.
Wow.
Okay. Well, looks like it's time for us to go because I can't hear you anymore, Luciana.
Oh, that's really?
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine. You can't hear me? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's strange.
All right. Well,
okay. Well, we can pick this up again because there's a lot of information that we didn't share yet. A lot.
Okay. Well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Catherine.